Hello friends! Today we are building a closet from scratch. I have been thinking about this project and how to tackle it for a really long time, and I came up with a super budget-friendly solution. As always, we start on Pinterest to gather some inspiration and ideas. I already knew I wanted to use burlap for this project because I had a lot left over from another DIY, and I found that I really loved the natural and warm wooden tones of those closets. So with that in mind, I moved on to the drawing board and started playing with different designs, but ultimately decided to go with this one, simple and elegant, which gives almost this kind of Japandi feeling. First, let me show you what we're working with. It's open and messy, and it creates a lot of visual clutter right when you enter the house. Once I emptied everything, I went over my plan to make sure I had the right measurements because, fun fact, I'm dyspraxic, so anything that involves visualizing space is way harder for me than it should be. Anything 3D feels like a puzzle on hard mode, so I measure twice, still cut wrong, and then improvise. DIY for me is basically trial and error. As a base, the idea is to create a box around the closet on which I can secure the hinges later and also divide the bottom and top doors. To know how deep I needed to place the cleats, I had to account for the thickness of the future doors, because I want them to sit flush with the wall. I cut all my wooden cleats to the height of the doors and secured them to the wall. To make the top, I glued 2 wooden strips, screwed them together, and propped them up on the sides. Then I basically repeated the same steps to frame the top cabinet doors, adding a few screws into the ceiling to really secure everything in place. And to support the inside doors, I had to create a middle support. And just like that, the closet frame is complete. On day 2, I was really excited to build the doors. The plan was basically to build big rectangles, which is pretty simple, but then I started placing and measuring and realized I didn't buy enough wood. Even though I did the math a billion times before. Like I said, math, 3D planning, visualization, and so on are not my strongest suits, and that's putting it mildly. So of course, I got frustrated and overwhelmed and didn't come back until the next day. To secure everything together, I used pocket holes. They are my favorites. They're a great way to easily join 2 pieces together without using complex joinery. I got this kit on Amazon, I link it in the description. For that, you just use a jig, choose the right depth, and secure the stop ring that prevents you from drilling too deep. Then I just clamp it to the wood and drill. To make it even stronger, I added wood glue before securing the pieces with screws. Good morning guys, it's a brand new day and today I really want to put the fabric on the doors. I had this type of fabric that I used on another project a while ago and I'm gonna be reusing it. So the plan today is to put this on the doors and see what works. I have tried a few combinations for the tint I want to do on the wood. Let me show you. So here is what I got so far. This is the wood with nothing on and I tried 3 tints. This one is a little bit gray for me. This one is the same one that I did for the coffee table right here, and this one is actually a mix of the two and I'm actually not sure what I love best. So fortunately for me, the first step is going to be sanding the doors before putting any tint, so I have a few extra minutes to make a decision. Let's get to sanding. For the hinges, I used a special drill bit that I got from Amazon. Like everything else, I'll put the link down below. You just secure it to your drill and use the jig to find the right place, and it helps you drill big circles in order to accommodate the round part of the hinges. Then you just have to secure it with little screws. On day 4, I started on the wooden part at the bottom of the doors. For that, I just cut squares of really thin plywood, but before securing it, I stapled the fabric to the back of the doors. The gun I use can be used for either staples or nails, and I really like that about it. Finally, I secured the piece of plywood to the back of the doors with wood glue and the same gun, but using nails this time. I used the same tint to make them match, and voila! So we are done with the doors. I'm really happy with how it turned out, but it wasn't a smooth ride. So here are the mistakes and the lessons that I learned so far. Mainly it's the hinges that gave me a little bit of trouble because it was a little bit hard figuring it out. It was my first time using this type of hinges, and what I learned is that you kind of want to take into account the length of the hinge, because as you can see here, my piece of wood was too short and not thick enough. So I had to add a bigger one, which is not ideal, but I had no choice. Otherwise, the screws were not going into the piece of wood, and that's bad. The second thing that I learned is that you really only need 3 hinges for a door that tall. It's about 2 meters. For those type of hinges, at least, it works just fine. And plus you have a little screw right here that can adjust how far the door can go, or how back, if that makes sense. One mistake that I made is here. I don't know if you can see, but there are a few places where I didn't drill properly the hole for the hinges. And if you're not dead centered, then you're gonna end up with those holes that you can see from the side, and that's not cute. So I put this one on the side because it's where it is the least visible. You can really see when you look from the front, but if you go to the side, here you see that they have a little hole. But it's okay. it's fine. Also, when it comes to the fabric that you want to put, you really need to stretch it out as much as you can because it's gonna loosen up with time. So I had to add a bunch of staples for it to stay really straight. The last little detail that I added was this kind of doorstop here, just so the door would stay flush. And now all there is left to do is to do everything I just did all over again for the top doors. Let's go. I'm so happy it's done. It took me a little bit longer than expected, but as always, it looks so much cleaner and I love the vibe. And it wasn't that expensive to make, to be honest. Once again, thank you for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye! Because it was really hard figuring it out. Because it was hard figuring it out. On dirait j'ai le nez bouché. Figuring it out. Peut-être qu'il faut que je fasse figuring it out. I want to put this. Je sais plus comment ça s'appelle.
Je crois que ça dit routine. Routine.
Okay.
Routine.
Just so the door would stay.
Oh, je speak English.
Yes, I do.